Hi, I'm Sudhakar Rao, Director Branding for ICFI Group. I studied mechanical engineering from the University College of Engineering at Osmania University, and then I had the good fortune of studying my post-graduation in management at IIM Bangalore. I specialized in marketing and corporate strategy. So it has given me great opportunities of working in the area of marketing, which is broad, and then I gradually specialized into branding, and today I am the Director Branding for ICFI Group. It will be very interesting for you to understand what one has to do at the initial stages of career in order to reach what is currently being called and glamorized as branding. Yes, broadly, from a common point of view, it is marketing, but branding is something which is at the height, which is at the peak of marketing. So, as a youngster, one has to get into understanding the market. One has to start as a salesperson. If you understand how customers are picking up your product, how marketing is being done by delivering the products, how the revenue is collected, if you understand the streams of product flow and revenue flow, you will be in a better position to understand and reach a department called branding. Today, it is regarded not before many years, but in the recent past, it is being regarded as something very, very essential and something really great. For anybody's career, if you keep in mind only one point, that how better I understand the customer, how better I can put my finger on the pulse of the customer, then you are meant for branding. Therefore, it begins from your personality also. As a person, if you have empathy means the way you understand the other person. You keep yourself in the shoes of the other person is called empathy. That is greatly useful in marketing. Here in branding, you will be keeping yourself in the shoes of the customer. You will think and feel and try and experience like the way a customer would. Therefore, that empathy will greatly help you in understanding the customer, and therefore you will be building a personality which is befitting for branding as you grow in your career. So you understand the sales function, you understand the revenue functions, you understand the delivery of the product, you understand what is happening in your factory, how the products are made. If you are into hospitality, if you are into services, if you are into great products like technology, everywhere you need to understand the starting point of your product or service vis-a-vis the end point where the consumer is actually taking the product and experiencing it. In between, there are several touch points. Each and every touch point is extremely important. I'll give you an example. If you know that there are several people in your own organization who will be adding value, it will be delivered through those people, and they are called touch points. The customer will come in touch with them. You take a restaurant, for example. The first instance in which you will come into contact with a restaurant is you look at an advertisement or a digital flyer that comes your way that restaurant is existing, and then you will click on their website. You will understand little more about it, about their ratings, about what other customers have mentioned about it. All these things you will have a preliminary information about, and then you would like to call them and book a seat, or by digitally you will also place an order in terms of either booking a seat or picking something which is takeaway. In all these touch points, even for now in the example is digital, those touch points will have to have a smooth and better experience. Therefore, the people who are working there and manning those responsibilities will also be part of your branding team. They have to be oriented towards what is eventually being called branding. So then you will go to the restaurant, and then you sit in the table that is allotted to you, and then you will talk to the waiter. All these things are extremely important because they are all conveying a little bit of your brand in the right way or the wrong way. Therefore, orientation of all these individuals, all these departments in the way the vision is created by the branding team is extremely important. At the branding team, which is sitting at the headquarters, if you have some kind of idea how my brand has to be really good, it is not enough. It has to translate, it has to percolate down to the people who are delivering, the people who are adding value till the customer experiences and then completes the consumption of food. Food itself in this example of restaurant is not about branding. The advertisement is not just about branding. The person who is taking care of the customer over there, the way you swipe the card once the food is taken, the way you return the bill, all these are important touch points. So in other examples also, in terms of your, say you are running a school or a college or a university, there are several touch points. Students like your programs, they look at your advertisements, and then they come into university. And then they register, they stand in a queue. If your experience of standing in the queue to submit your original marks cards and then seek the registration letter, if that experience is not really good or not smooth, then you will have a dissonance. Dissonance in the sense, you expect something, but on the ground, the reality is very different. So the responsibility of the branding is to see that this dissonance is reduced. The dissonance should be minimum. In fact, the dissonance should be zero. I think towards that objective, the branding teams will work. So once you know the roles, how large it is, how essential it is for the organizations to succeed, irrespective of the product, irrespective of the service, whether you are in a knowledge product or you're in a tech product or a hospitality product or even healthcare, where certain decisions are life-changing. Everywhere, the number of people that are involved will be more, and therefore there is an increased role for all the people in the branding to orient them very, very beautifully towards the brand objective of your organization. So if branding is so important, then the personality of the person who is choosing this career will also have to be tailored, to be cultivated and built in a manner that it will fit the role and the expectations of branding as a function. You will have to study marketing, you will have to understand the market, you will have to do special courses on consumer behavior, on technology, on advertising, starting from a designer. You'll be working with various designers into creating an advertisement. And when you create that advertisement, they are experts. But you will have to tell them what colors have to come, what shape, what layouts have to come. You should be having a position and ability to reject a few. If you don't know anything, if you even don't know how to handle those softwares, it's fine, but you should have a functional knowledge of it. You may not be the expert in using those graphic designing softwares. Those packages may not be the things that you work on a day-to-day basis. But if you're working with an ad agency or an in-house design agency, you will have to deal with them and give them suggestions in line with the brand vision. So several iterations will be taken, several samples will be taken, and then you should have the position and the ability and the decision-making capacity to reject and accept what is appropriate for your brand. So the knowledge of packages, the ability to decide quickly and correlate with all the designers, media buying people. When you buy media, you should know what kind of media you should buy, which TV channel, which digital, which print, and how much. I think these are all specialized functions, but the brand team will be able to tell them, yes, we need to apportion this kind of money into digital, this kind of money into print, and the rest with electronic. So when you have the ability to decide, that ability is fueled by your knowledge. Therefore, you need to study media planning. You need to study in which category your brand is, and therefore what others are doing. So keep an eye on your customer, keep an eye on your competitor, keep an eye on your internal customer, that is the people who are supporting within the organization. So when you do all these things, those abilities will build you towards effective decision making. I want to tell you one more thing. There are about 4 or 5 C's in branding. One is consistency. If your brand comes across as seen by your customer very consistently, if they look at you 100 times, you should be seen the same 100 times every single time. So the consistency is extremely important. Then you should be clearly seen, in the sense that if you have an identity, that identity should be seen by them very, very clearly without any clutter. I see so many people putting the hoardings in the cities. They write lots of stuff on the hoardings. You also would have seen that. Because there is space, they keep writing everything on the hoardings. No, hoarding is meant on a road where somebody is driving and he gets a few seconds to look at that hoarding. So you should understand and should be in a position to judge the purpose of a particular piece of visibility which is part of branding items. So don't mention too much, there's no time to read. Give a good visual, a stunning line, and then that's it. So they will remember that. And then if you have poll kiosks, if you have some other outdoor medium, you should know that you need to catch the attention in the first 6 seconds or 5 seconds, and then be done with it. Don't write lessons over there. Don't write 10 lines. There's nobody is having any time to read all that. So the medium that you're choosing, the clarity that with which you will communicate is extremely important. There should be no clutter. Now, consistency, clarity, and then there is something called credibility. You can claim anything. You may say that you are the best computer in the world, but the reader or the consumer will have to believe that. If you don't give the reasons, if you don't sound authentic, that's an extremely important point, credibility. So your communication and the way you communicate the proposition or the value of your brand, if it is well told, then the credibility will come. You can give examples, you can give some kind of citations, you can give some kind of reviews, or you are being adjudged by someone as an accreditation, then you can cite that. Then you can say you are the best. Don't say that you are the best always. You are the best according to a third party. So that is credibility. Now, when you have the credibility, and the third or the fourth one that you will have to focus on is about the communication and care. Now, how do you communicate a care? You as a brand can be a tech brand. You as a brand can be a hospital brand. You as a brand can be an education brand or a restaurant brand or some kind of tools, or it could be real estate. It could be any brand. But there are opportunities for you in real life where you can communicate the care that you have for the community. This is an extremely important point. A large number of surveys have revealed to us that in times of crisis, in times of difficulties, what this brand is doing to the community. For example, COVID situation or non-COVID situation, there is any calamity or a disturbance or an earthquake or a cyclone, how this organization and this brand is reaching out to say that yes, we stand for them. Although I sell my products and services to earn money, here is an opportunity for me to take care of them in times of distress. Then the loyalty for the brand and the respect for the brand will grow. So the communication of care is extremely important as the fact that it has to get into your personality. The brand personality should be a caring brand. I think these are important parameters. One, external learning and faculties that are to be developed. Internally, your personality of an individual which will fit the roles of branding. These are two important parameters you need to keep in mind when you are choosing a careers in branding. It is not just enough that you look good. It's not just enough that you look very smart. Internally, there should be an authentic appeal for your product. What they are saying is believable. That is extremely important, and therefore our language, our communication, the way we appear, everything has to be believable. So you need to use the right words and the right choice of the medium and the right language. So branding, my friends, is a very interesting and strategic function. You will reach that place if you actually have an understanding of sales as a function and then go to branding. And therefore, in my view, all the youngsters out there will have to believe in one thing, that cultivate a personality for branding and then also acquire knowledge in terms of understanding the consumer, in terms of understanding the technology, media buying, as well as the software packages that we have. So, in a nutshell, you will be looking at strategic functions which are important as much as a business owner would think. So, brand guys or brand team is generally referred to as small business owners in various organizations. So that is the kind of control they have. So you will start as an executive, you will grow as assistant manager of branding, and then you will become manager branding, then you will become head of branding, and eventually you will be designated as brand custodian of an organization. So when you are a brand custodian, you will not start learning to do things. You would have exhibited all that at a very early stage, like when you were a brand executive. So slowly, based on your track record and the deliverables, you will be rewarded with additional choices of decision making, and then you will handle a large portfolio of brands and eventually become a brand custodian. So it's a great path. I welcome everyone to study and behave what branding is all about, and then aspire to become an expert in branding. I wish you all the best. Thank you.